So we got some new pages for JJK's final volume, and there's a lot of stuff revealed, like how Sukuna met Arame for the first time, and that Yuta and Maki had children together, and then we see that Nobara met up with her mother, and that Yuji met up with Ozawa. There's a lot of great stuff in here, guys. Let's take a look at it. So let's take a look at the new epilogue, and it starts with Yuji and Ozawa, and it begins by Yuji speaking, and he says, "I like snow." And he says, "As you grow up, fireworks in the sea become less special, but the snow is still very special to me," and he's speaking to Ozawa. And this takes place before they went to high school when they were in middle school. And then we cut to present day, and we see Ozawa, and she says ever since she's came back home, she has not hung out with anybody she knew from high school, and even if she did, they probably would not recognize her. And she says she knows about 200 people's faces from high school, but she doesn't know who they are, and the only person she wants to meet is Yuji. But then out of nowhere, Yuji pulls up, and he says, "Oh, it's Ozawa." And she is just confused as hell, and she says, "Itadori, you came home." And he says he's taking care of his grandpa's home now, and that's cool. And Ozawa says her grandma is going into an old person's home, and that's why she came back home, to help clean up. And Yuji says what troubles we have despite being so young. And Ozawa says, "Yuji, were you alright in Tokyo?" And he says, "Yep, I was in Shibuya, but I came out fine." And she's just asking because she notices all the scars on Yuji. And he says, "What about Ozawa?" And she says, "I was over in Machida." And he says, "Haha, Machida, the city of mystery, it sure is amazing." And he says, "Kidding, I heard from Kugisaki that you were fine." And the tension rises, and she thinks that Yuji thought about her. And then Yuji says, "It's snowing." And she says, "Do you still like the snow?" And he says, "Yeah, mysteriously I do." And she says, "I like snow too, especially when it piles up." And she says in her mind how bright it is, it makes you want to build a snowman. And she says because it's similar to the person I like so much. And then Nobara says that Yuji is on the precipice of becoming an adult. And Megumi says us children would never have talks about succeeding our family. And that's the end of the first epilogue chapter. Now to the next. This next chapter is about Panda, and we see Yuta and Maki's grandchildren. So the chapter starts off with the granddaughter saying, "Oh, it's a panda, it's so cute." But then the grandson says, "You can't touch those." And he says, "Those are grandpa's treasures, that's a cursed corpse." And she says, "That's a cute treasure," but then he takes it away. And then Panda says, "This kid has a bad personality, are you really Yuta's grandchildren?" And it says that Panda lost control of his body after 2035. And we found out that Yuta took ownership of Panda, but we also found out that he is the head of the Gojo clan. And that's crazy. And then it says, even in 2080, the panda still moves sometimes. And then Panda says to Yuta's grandchildren, "You're so loud, don't shout in my ear." But this is really cool, guys. Now to the next one. Then for the next one, we see Nobara meeting her mother, and Nobara says, "Yo," and this is her mother. And she says, "You came to see me," and she says, "No, it's just bad luck if I ignore someone's last words." And Nobara's mom says, "I see, you're having fun." And then Nobara says, "Oh, this is pissing me off." And she says, "I have no interest in not knowing about something I don't know how to do." And she says, "So you're a sorcerer now. I had no talent for it, so grandma went on to you." And Nobara says, "Stop talking like that. How old do you think we are?" And she says, "It's not that you lacked a sorcerer's talent, but you lacked a parent's talent." And Nobara says, "Whether you were there or not, I would have become a sorcerer, and if you didn't have me, you would have become a sorcerer." And she says, "Pathetic, are you really scared of that old hag?" And then we see a lighter, and Nobara's mom says, "Is that all you have to say? You want me to acknowledge you?" And Nobara's mom says, "You probably want me to apologize for everything I did to you back then, but sorry, I have not changed one bit." And Nobara's mom is just doing a bunch of horrible stuff, and this is crazy. And Nobara says that she really does not care about her mom at all, and she's just here to respect the dead. And Nobara says, "Right, Granny," and it looks like her mom does not like her grandmother either. And then Granny pulls up, and she looks crazy, and then Nobara says, "Take your time." And then the last epilogue we're on is Sukuna and Arame's. And Arame says, "It's always like this. When I wake up, it's cold, and that's how father and mother died. It's because of me." And Sukuna says, "Come with me. Yesterday, I accidentally crushed my ice house." And Sukuna says, "Watch over this so the meat doesn't rot and everything turns cold, right?" And Arame says, "It's not like this. It's not like this." And Sukuna says, "You're hungry, right? Are you an idiot? You have meat in front of you. Eat as you please." And Arame starts eating, and then Sukuna says, "So that's okay." And Arame says he cooled down the meat to a low temperature and he dried it out. And Sukuna says, "Who taught you this?" And Arame says, "I was just bored." And Sukuna says, "Can you butcher humans?" And Arame is confused. And he says, "It depends on the person, but, well, it's like a delicacy." And Arame says, "Why is Sukuna near me? Does he not get cold?" And Sukuna says, "That goes for you as well, Arame. Why did you not get cold by my side?" And that's the end of the epilogue, and this is crazy, guys. Arame never changed while he was with Sukuna, and I love this line from Sukuna. Arame never got cold, and I just love their relationship. But yeah, guys, I love this epilogue from JJK Volume 32. Let me know what you thought of it, guys, because this was a lot to unpack.